Some of you guys need to hear this. Your female coworkers are not your friends. They're not your friends, and by that I mean you have to be very, very, very cautious of what you say around women at work, what you do around women at work. Anything that you say will be used against you. Uh, it's so like a criminal case, but you have to understand that companies are very sensitive about protecting their interests, and they're willing to do anything it takes to make sure that they can avoid a lawsuit. And if that means firing you because of an accusation, they're going to do exactly that. And some of you guys say, well, I don't harass people. Well, it doesn't really matter much, because if you piss off a woman you work with, even if you think she's your friend, you can be in big trouble. I mean, for example, if you joke around with a woman at work, just because she's laughing at your jokes now doesn't mean she's going to be laughing at your jokes tomorrow. She could be laughing really hard at your jokes right now. An hour from now, her mood may be very different, and those same jokes may have different meaning for her then. And how she interprets things, how she receives things, determines whether it's sexual harassment. It's not really so much of what you do a lot of times. It's just how it's viewed by the woman. For example, if you ask a woman out, that could be viewed as the beginning of sexual harassment, or you could just simply go out on a date. Well, if you do go out on a date with that woman you work with, and things don't work out, that could create some tension in the office, and she can later on use that in a sexual harassment claim against you. And now, if you're lucky, the company or the government will actually investigate that. But if you're unlucky, they'll fire you right there without an investigation. I remember I was working for the city of Flint, and I was working at the water pollution plant. And this one girl, this guy, my supervisor, he was talking to everybody about sexual harassment on an individual one-on-one basis. And he mentioned to me that she thought I was going to ask her for her phone number, which is very interesting. Actually, I thought her friend that she was working with was pretty cute. But anyway, that's a whole other story. I wasn't being accused of anything, but I thought it was interesting how like the slightest thing could actually come up in conversation. So you have to be very aware of what you say and what you do. I just call myself being nice. But in that situation, he was talking to me about their sexual harassment policy. And unless you're sort of like a higher up person, a lot of times the policy is just, well, if there's an accusation, terminate the person immediately. Now, I was just working a summer job, so that would make sense for a summer job. But you never know. You might want to actually go to your job and do a little investigation, find out what their sexual harassment policy is. You may be surprised. You definitely want to avoid talking to them talking to them about things that are not work related. I would recommend speaking to women that you work with about work-related items, work-related topics. It doesn't mean you have to be rude or disrespectful or anything. You actually should you should be polite, but you should stick to the work, the business. You don't want to be talking about their personal life. You don't want them talking about your personal life, because later on, if they get pissed off at you, they can say that, oh, he was telling me all this personal stuff, and I felt very uncomfortable. That's a key thing in sexual harassment, how you feel uncomfortable, how you perceive things. It's not so much as what you do, is how it's interpreted. So the more you understand these laws or these rules, these policies, particularly the policies at these companies and these governments, the more you'll understand what I'm trying to tell you here. It doesn't matter if you're being a villain or not. You can put yourself in a lot of trouble. You may want to avoid hanging out with them away from work. I highly recommend that you avoid hanging out with them away from work. Nothing good can really come of it. If they get drunk and they start to hit on you, even later on, they might not remember what they did. She might not remember what she did, but she may. It could create some problems for you. In general, I don't think that men and women really are friends for the most part. I think there's exceptions. For example, when the man's gay, or when the man and woman are related. But generally speaking, men and women don't really befriend one another. Men just aren't wired that way to be friends with someone they're attracted to. Now, a lot of times, these so-called friendships aren't really friendships. They're just a guy trying to get into some woman's pants and just waiting until her relationship falls apart for him to just step up and swoop in and take the guy's girl. But those aren't really real friendships. And the friend with benefit stuff, I've already commented on that. You guys tell me what you think. Can men and women really be friends? And I also want you to comment on the sexual harassment policies. Do you think some of these policies are extreme? Do you see any examples where men have been put in situations where they got into a lot of trouble unjustly? All right, guys, I want to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.